And the highest value was called the telos by Aristotle. And he knew this in his time. He knew that to maximize human potential was to pursue the telos, the end in mind. Just like we have telomeres, the end of the genes, we have telecephalon, the end of the brain, telomeres, and teleology. Teleology was a study of meaning and purpose. It was the most meaningful and purposeful, most spontaneously inspiring thing we can be doing. So if we prioritize our life and fill our day with that one thing, that highest priority, and keep to our primary objective, our chief aim, if you will, or Napoleon Hill called it, we automatically maximize objectivity, which is neutrality, where we have the most resilience, adaptability, and we maximize the law of attraction and the secret. And if we don't, and we allow ourselves to get distracted by lower priority things from injected values of all the people we compare ourselves to, we automatically get into the amygdala and we automatically polarize ourselves and disempower ourselves. A house that's divided. We now go from enlightenment into positive and negative emotional charges where those things are running us. And that's called noise in the brain. It's literally called static. It shows up as facilitation and inhibitions in the brain. It shows up neurotransmitters in the form of glutamate and GABA frequencies. And there's a modulator in the center, which intuition awakens, N-acetyl aspartate, which is a modulator that integrates those twos and synchronizes them. Our neurochemistry, our psychology, our physics have such correlations. It's mind-blowing. But you don't want to say that it's a quantum state necessarily, because we can't prove that yet. But we do know that neuroassociations in the brain and their anti-memories of associations can be entangled simultaneously in the brain. That's the closest correlates we've got right now. And in some of the subcellular components, there seem to be quantum effects there. But we definitely have correlations with quantum physics in that perspective. And so even Lucifer from Scientific American uses that term sometimes.
So it's kind of what you just said was similar to quantum entanglement. The two things.
It's like quantum entanglement.
Yeah.
The memory. In fact, if you look in Neuron Magazine, March 17, 2016, there is a fantastic article on the potential for neuroentanglement in the brain in the sense of memory and anti-memory, or conscious and unconscious content. Now, I've been doing and studying that contrast since 1978-9. I wrote a book on perceptual illusions and how they caused illness back then. And I was very fascinated by these contrasts, because we don't sense without contrast. It's called the law of contrast. Imagine this. You take a cold beaker of water that's 40 degrees. And you take another beaker of water that's 140 degrees. And you put another beaker in the middle of it that's 72. If you take your hand and put it in the cold water and hold it there for a minute, it's quantitatively 40 degrees. You stick it in the quantitative 72 degrees, and you will swear that it's hotter than it is subjectively because of the law of contrast. If you didn't have something to compare it to, you'd get a 72 reading in your hand. But because you compared it to something you perceived as colder, you now make it warmer. And if you take it and stick it in 140 degrees, because of the law of contrast, you stick it in that tepid water, it now seems colder. So you get subjective bias the moment you compare in contrast. And all of our senses are contrast. All the phenomenological world of the senses are contrast. We can't perceive without a contrast. If we're in a completely white room, we can't see. Completely black room, we can't see. Saying you put contrast, you can see. Same thing for binaural fusions in the ears. You can't hear unless you have contrast. All the senses, 2-point discrimination, contrast on the senses. So without that contrast, if we had simultaneous contrast, we would have that enlightened state. And then we would maximize the law of attraction, because we would not separate in time and space. The moment we separate things in space and time and judge something subjectively with a bias, we lost the law of attraction. We diminished its power. The law of attraction is simultaneous when we're actually present.
To watch the full video, click on the link below. And don't forget to subscribe.